So in November 2024, we decided to go to Italy and walk the Via Francigena. And since that time, we've been asked many questions about it. And I thought I'd make a video um, to answer all those questions. So let's go. Okay, question number one. How far did you walk? So we went from Lucca to Vatican City, which is a total distance of 353 kilometers. We didn't walk the entire distance because we took some shortcuts if it was really uphill or we were tired or whatever. I would say we walked somewhere between 250 and say 300 kilometers at the most. The second question is, how did we prepare for this before we went? So we didn't do anything. We enjoy walking for sure, and we walk, here and there. But, for example, we never walked anywhere with our backpacks or, did any kind of training at all for this. So forget about that. Question number three is, what about packing? How did we pack? What did we pack, etc. So first of all, we have backpacks that are 40 liters, and we tried to get 10% of our body weight. So we weighed everything in advance. So our packs are probably somewhere 15 to 20 pounds. And we carry enough water, and we carry enough food for a meal, sometimes 2 meals each in a day, because it's always a little unpredictable what we're going to find. We packed bare minimum of fast drying shirts and things like that. A couple of pairs of pants, warm weather, so kind of very lightweight jackets, rain jacket, hiking boots, and tech stuff and so on. Question four: what was it like to carry your backpack all day long? Some people pay to have their backpacks move from one place to another. We decided to actually hike with our backpacks. And the reason why is two things. First, it gave us more freedom, right? Because we were never really sure of where we were going to be far in advance. And second, it was a personal challenge. And for the first 3 days, it was extremely painful. There's no doubt about it. I mean, back pain, every muscle hurt. But after 3 days, amazingly, it began to be really no problem at all. Um, I wouldn't say that we didn't feel the backpack, but certainly for the first few hours in the day, in the morning, and so on, when you put it on, it was just fine. There weren't any problems at all. You get used to it, and after a while, it feels just fine to walk with a backpack. Question number six is, how did you know which way to go? And the beautiful thing about the Via Francigena is that it is very well signposted. Where that's obvious, when there's a cut in the road or a fork somewhere, we see these signs, pretty easy to figure out which direction to go. Right, so basically, everywhere that is going to be a turn, everywhere where you're not going to be 100% certain, there's a sign for the Via Francigena. So no problems there. So as we're walking along, every once in a while we see these signs, which is the Via Francigena, Via Francigena. And then we see these, and it makes us feel so happy because you never really know where you're going. We also had, GPS on our phones, and for sure we did get lost once in Lucca, and it was a good lesson. Okay, so we've been walking about half an hour, and we've been lost already.
wandering around, but I think we're on the right road now.
We walked an extra few kilometers because of that. After that, we were much more careful. Question 7. Were you tired? Absolutely. What we learned was that our maximum distance that we could walk was about 20 kilometers. Give or take a few here and there, depending on hills. And after 20 kilometers, forget it. So what we would do is that we would plan that after 20 kilometers, we'd want to be in some kind of town that had transportation to the end of the stage, where our final destination for the day. And sometimes we would take a bus to that place. I don't think we ever took a taxi, but generally speaking, you're going to find a town that has transportation and so on. And some of the stages you'll see are, 35, 40 kilometers, and there's no way we were going to do that. No chance of that at all. We had really no interest.
All right, so that's where we started this morning. We've been walking about, I don't know, hour and a half or so along that road, and we're doing well. A little bit uphill.
And even after 20 kilometers, by the end of that experience, the end of the day, especially if there were hills, I mean, we were walking like penguins. I remember well going to restaurants and so on, and just really struggling, from just to walk properly because we were so tired. But by the next morning, we were all set and ready to go. The next question is, what's the weather like in November? We were very worried about this. We were worried about rain, of course, cold weather. What would happen almost every day is that we would wake up at 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning, and we'd be off in the mornings. It would be maybe 5 or 6 degrees.
And this morning, once again, kind of cool, 6 degrees.
And by the middle of the day, if it was sunny, which it normally was, it would be in the 20s. And then the sun would go down fairly early, being November, and then it would cool down at night. But generally speaking, the weather was perfect every day. I think in the entire month that we were in Italy in November, it rained twice. The next question, do you speak Italian? No. Our Italian is extremely poor. This was never really a problem. For sure, in smaller towns, anywhere away from tourism, the level of English went down significantly. But we had translators, and the problem in restaurants and so on, the menus would be exclusively in Italian, and we would just use Google Translate and translate it into English. So really no problem at all to communicate. Why did you choose to go in November? Well, it just happened to fit into our schedule, for one. For two, in November, we knew that there would be far fewer tourists. So, therefore, the prices of accommodation, transportation, and so on would be cheaper. And we never had a problem finding accommodations because of that, because there were few tourists. Also, of course, I can't believe that there would be people who could do this walk in the summer, being 40 some odd degrees. There are many distances, many times when the distance is significant and there isn't really available water in between this. Say, you might go 10 kilometers without any water. In the blaring sun, I can't imagine what that would be like. Even for us in November, we were really careful with our water supply. So really, tourism, availability of accommodation, climate, and it was cheaper and better, really, I think, in every way. November's a great time to do the Via Francigena. Where did you stay, and did you have to book far in advance? So we never booked far in advance. We would stay in Airbnbs and occasional hotels, and we would book really only the day before or 2 days in advance. Never a problem. We use Booking.com every time. With Airbnbs, the communication was always good, the quality was good. What tech items did you take?
The drone that we use is the DJI Neo. It's their newest and smallest and cheapest uh, little drone. And what it does is that it has these buttons here, and you don't really need a controller, So it's absolutely beautiful. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take some drone of this beautiful building.
How was the food and wine? The the wine is exceptional. Let's start with that. We're in Tuscany every day. The house wine, red wine, was just beautiful every time. Exceptional, especially if you're Canadian. The quality of wine was incredible, and the price was cheap compared to here. The food, the food was excellent, really, but be warned, there's not a whole lot of variety. You're eating pasta a lot, pizza, yeah, but really excellent. How much did you spend? Generally, the accommodations would cost us somewhere between, say, cheap would be 70 euros, expensive would be over 100, so it would be in that range per night. Meals generally cost 10 to 15 euros each. And of course, there's the airfare. So that's what we did for a month. Add it all up. Generally, in a day, we would pay for, say, one meal in a restaurant, sometimes two. So that would be 20, 30, say 40 euros a day for food. We would cook in our Airbnbs for the other meals. Plus, as I say, between 70 and 100 euros for accommodation, and then the flights were about 800 Canadian dollars to go from Montreal to Rome. Was it worth it? Absolutely. I mean, it was challenging at times for sure. But when we arrived at the Vatican, we felt so great. I mean, we really did. We got our certificate. We had walked all of this distance. We climbed up hills, and we baked in the sun, and we walked like penguins. We were in physical pain. And we did it. We made it in the end, and it was a really, really great feeling. That personal accomplishment. You can't beat it. We also saw an incredibly beautiful part of Italy. We drank some great wine. We met some really nice people. So was it worth it? 100%. Absolutely. If this is something you're interested in doing, just do it. It's fantastic. Well, I hope this video has been helpful for you. If you have any comments, if you've been on Via Francigena and you want to add something to what I've said, or you disagree with some of the things I've said, then by all means, just put them in the comments. And thank you very much for watching.